music loud. Chillin' in my bedroom, thinking of what to do. Keep my feet up and giving now. Vibes good with the music loud. Trying to start my day with the waking babe. Now I'm on my way. I could never be alone. Introvert in mind, this music sounding nice. So now I'm feeling right. No need for a dramatic ride. I do what I do, is I do what I love. Be up, not give that fuck. It's in my DNA to never ever fight. No time for the side. Living life how it's meant to be. Living on this world without a need. Chillin' in my bedroom, thinking of what to do. Kick my feet up and gaming now. Vibing with the music loud. Chillin' in my bedroom, thinking of what to do. Kick my feet up and gaming now. Vibes good with the music loud. Let's work. These rifles got me feeling good, chill vibes, that is my mood. These rifles got me feeling good, chill vibes, that is my mood. Next game night, that's how sitting back and keep it going. Need a girl like Mama, all the sugar and that love. Killer eyes and pretty temples that got me on the way. All these rifles from 2D to 3D got me falling down. Like Mr. Roshi, yes, I'm a weed. That's how I do. Dragon Ball, my hero, that's my move. Kicking back, and I'm feeling so good. Look at me, and you misunderstood. I'm feeling that fun, boss, how you get good. Quit acting like a fucker, gonna live my life for me. Give them a fuck. These rifles got me feeling good, chill vibes, that is my mood. These rifles got me feeling good, chill vibes, that is my mood. This game night, that's how I don't need a slice of life. Sitting back and keep it going. Life can be beautifully tough. So long time for fake love.
What up? Yes. What up, motherfuckers? Loads and less everybody else between the boys. I'll say, well, back more Fortnite, and MrsMaaam and I are playing around. Because the HomieBabes have not responded. And it's already 7:40. So, we're doing things and stuff. At some point the computer might restart, do its fucking thing because it's a doofenshmirtz. But it is what it is.
When I get some more money in, babe, we'll get you a new computer.
Oh, boobs. That works. Well, I have another computer. It's just power supply might be fucked on it.
We'll get it fixed.
Whoa, we're flying up and away.
No, you're not.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, no, I'm not. Why is there so many balloons? Holy shit.
I'll do an emo.
Holy shit, look at all these fucking balloons.
There's gonna be more 'cause somebody else joined him.
That's crazy. That's a lot of fucking balloonies. Balonials. But how art thou, Mrs.Maaam?
Better than I was.
That's true. Did you see my conversation starters?
I did. What are those?
Things I came up with on the way home, and also some things that happened at work.
Okay.
So I figured those would be.
You want to talk about some of those things?
I feel like that would be some funny conversation starters with the peeps.
What's the mom sister me equals dumb?
the person that looks like my mom mixed with me mixed with Produce Man that I told you about.
Why does it equal dumb?
Because they were fucking up all day, and then I actually put the pieces together.
Oh,
and
just
then
on a concussion.
yeah, and then I put the pieces together, and I was like, oh, maybe it's not dumb. Maybe it's just accident prone.
Yeah, maybe it's because she was just in a severe car accident.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
That might be.
Possibly.
That might be one of the problems, but who knows? Who knows? Ah, shit, talkie mushrooms. It's all the way up there. How are you doing up over there? Are you surviving?
Yeah, I just landed.
You just landed?
Yeah.
Nice.
I got distracted because Dad texted me and I was reading the text and started flying the wrong way.
Oh, smooth move, Ace.
Yeah, right.
Oh, there's a llama sprite.
I already have that one.
Yeah, I'm rocking him right now. He's already level 3. I was about to say 5.
My air sprite's level 4 right now.
Nice. Sure. See a fire sprite down there. Oh, there's somebody. Hello. I didn't see you. You a bot? Nope, you're just a dingus. But the way you were shooting, you might as well be a fucking bot.
Maybe they are.
Ha! Idiot. Take that, nerd. As I took like 60 fall damage. Is there a fire around here? I don't want to use a whole med kit on myself. I'd rather not.
Yeah, open the starter chest and get out. So I'm trying to touch my butt.
Somebody is?
The storm.
Oh, the storm. Found an air sprite.
Nice.
I don't know if you're rocking one now.
I am.
Oh,
What?
no way!
What?
I just found a gummy loot llama.
Nice.
Aw, dude. Aw, dude.
You want me to pick it up?
No, I'm holding on to it. I got him. I used my med kit.
There you go.
There are so many blue chests in the area that I'm at. Like, holy shit. Rapid fire SMG, purple. A pair of booties. There's another blue chest over here.
I like this area.
Gold SMG, a ghost sprite.
Yeah.
There's an ammo box. I saw an ammo box around here somewhere.
I know, I just...
You broke it. I have the loop llama.
I know, I was super intelligent.
What the shit?
No.
I can't believe you've done this.
I know. Like that.
Oh, there's another ammo box. Okay, we're about to see what the loot llama does. Okay, I haven't moved. I didn't move. What? It didn't do the thing.
Yeah, it has a chance of doing it.
Oh,
Here's
what?
another ammo box.
It hasn't done it at all. And I got it to level 4 now.
Yeah, I think you have to max it.
Oh, well, that stinks. Oh, upgrade weapon. For freezies? Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta go. We gotta go get it out of here. Wait, select it. It said select an upgrade. What do you mean select an upgrade?
You have to have it on the weapon. You have to have the weapon that you want to upgrade equipped when you are opening the thing, because if you move, it will take the option to upgrade away. That's why I'm saying you have to, it's like really specific. It's really particular. You have to be super careful. Don't move. You have to have it equipped.
Don't move a singular muscle. There's a gun flee going on by me. Oh, you're running to it too?
Yep.
Nice. I am here.
Hey, I didn't shoot you.
I did, on accident. Alright, my dude's max level. I'm ready to get out of here. Oh, well,
It's almost. I'm super close.
super duper.
Super stupid. I just need like one treasure chest.
Well, now I'm working on upgrading the gummy llama, so maybe I'll get there. There's a purple sniper if you want
I do want it.
it. I got a bunch of sniper ammo. What's
Yeah.
oh? Whenever you do that, you make it
Not
sound
my
like you're
one treasure
dying.
chest. Excited.
Oh, there's a peanut.
Mm.
Hollow foil something or another's. What the fuck is
Need
it?
to extract.
Hollow foil fire. Do you want that hollow foil fire, Mrs.Maaam? Purple spire. Actually,
Oh my god. I need to extract. I have no open.
where's it extract? Over that way.
Here, I think.
Okay, well, I'm gonna take the spire gun then. I'm leaving the chaos behind. Oof. Torgie's still on starting soon. I think he might have died.
I think they might be struggling with their kid.
That's
I just saw on Facebook they are putting him in the crib for the first time tonight.
Oh. Well, I hope that goes well for him. Oh shit! You getting shot at?
He stole my Sprite! He stole my Sprite!
What do you mean he stole your Sprite?
He stole my Sprite, fucking Spider-Man! I took his stuff. Bro! Oh!
They are locked onto you.
I
They
have
don't.
two health.
They don't
I
give a
have two
fuck
health.
about me.
I have 2 health. Get him, Mr. Babe. This guy
I'm-
stole my Sprite. Oh, give him back!
Got him.
Urgh. Oh, good job.
Extraction's here. Extraction's here.
Stuck. Look down here. Oh, oh, ah.
Hurry, Mrs. Babe, go, 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 go.
Give it.
Nice. Oh my god.
I had like 5 sprites on me. An air sprite! No fucking way!
Okay, I am grabbing a extractor doohickey doobob.
Yeah, they
Wait.
were all over me. Good lord.
Apparently
That's
there's a
crazy.
sprite over that way. I'm gonna go see what's popping. Oh, it's just an earth sprite.
Over which way?
It's just an earth sprite.
I don't have one of those.
Okay. I have not maxed him yet.
Oh, I'm sitting at 2 health.
Jesus Christ.
Drink.
I'm grabbing the webums.
Oh, there's somebody over here. Hello?
Backup has arrived. Their teammate is sniping. Their teammate's sniping. They're super low. Got him.
Nice, I'm sure.
Goes to goo.
I have one in my inventory as we speak.
Alright, it says there's another sprite over here. What's over here?
Yeah, I see that.
It's an aura sprite.
Right. Oh, I don't have one of those.
Footsteps?
Or Ezra's account. Oh shit!
I think they're running away.
Right. Oh, they're trying to use the. Oh, I almost knocked that one. That lady is almost down.
Knocked one.
This lady over here is super low.
Knocked another one.
Nice.
Take the crown, Mrs. Babe.
There's another rapid fire.
I knocked them. How are they moving?
Did they have a revive?
No, they had boots. Or maybe they had a revive. I don't know.
They
But
must have had a revive.
they skadooshed.
I need to get this for us right over here.
Where'd they go? What'd you weigh, Mark? What's that?
Huh? A gold SMG.
Oh, I have one.
I gotta go this way.
Okay, the dude's skadooshed this way. I don't know where he is. Oh, they're using the extraction.
Oh. Let's go get him.
They're sniping.
I'm not there. Use Spider-Man way over there. Really fast. Oh, they went down.
Like down here with me.
Woo! Yeah, they went down the. They're gonna make. They're gonna. I don't have any help.
No, don't do it.
Fuck.
I don't have any help.
Don't do it.
Where is he? Where are you?
I do not have the health for this. I gotta go.
Run away like a
I gotta
little
run.
bitch.
I gotta run.
I'm coming. Where did you run to?
I'm over here.
It's okay, I got my
Is
sprite
that a
up.
booba?
Yeah. You're
Oh,
a booba.
yeah. I know.
Ooh, got footy zip.
Delicious for delicious. Okay.
I'm fighting a Lego. Sure. How many footy steps? I have. Like,
Where are you?
no
Where,
help.
oh shit, we are not together.
Oh. Okay.
One more time.
Oh, motherfucker!
Chill out.
There's a loot llama over here.
Ow, my toe has to crack. Crack right
Ow.
off.
You're dead. You died. Sorry.
Yeah. It'll blow up.
GG's.
Yeah.
It's Jover.
Oh, not that much, dude.
Damn it, I was trying to talk and I was muted. Which toe, MrsMaaam?
my left big toe.
Oh,
Damn,
that
it's
was the
over.
worst.
It is, yes. It's gonna crack right off.
No! Otherwise, how's it going?
It's going.
Fighting for our lives.
Look
Yeah, I
at Mr.
heard
Bear.
that.
Finally got them.
Oh, you're welcome, RJ.
Yeah.
Babe, babe.
Oh my god, why are we not together? Oh my god.
And I got hers too.
Why do you move away without telling me? You just disappear.
You. I mean, we're still in the storm.
No, you
Sounds
weren't by.
exciting
You
over
obviously
there.
weren't fucking by me. Did I just win? Oh, we just won the game. Oh, sick nasty.
Nice job, Mr.
GG
Babe.
easy.
Yeah, nice job, nice job. See?
Wow.
See?
Still,
Yeah, gee, we're
how about you
Good
fucking
at the
stay
video
close,
game.
Mrs. Babe?
Sorry.
I'll fight you to the death.
Fight me in the sheets.
Maybe.
Ooh.
Fight me in a boxing ring.
What?
Nah, RJ. Nah.
No, you don't want it? That's why. You scared, pussy.
Oh shit.
I'll
Well,
give you the 1-2 buck on my shoe.
Purple nurple you.
Oh!
oh, you might be.
Damn,
you might-
huh? Okay,
Damn,
Wet
she
Willie
went
with
there.
the
Whoa.
wedgie.
Wow.
All right, Miss Maaam, you better watch what underwear you wear, or you might slice and dice.
Wet Willie with the wet. Oh, imagine getting a wet. Are you sliced in half? That's a Mortal Kombat finisher. Hold on.
No, it all depends on the underwear.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, give someone a fucking wedgie so hard they slice up from the middle. Holy shit. That's an Art the Clown kind of kill, to be honest.
Nope, that's not the
That
one I wanted.
is. Hey, MrsMaaam, did you see the movie trailer for that movie Wicker?
What'd you
What?
call me?
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
have
say,
not.
what the fuck did you just say?
Calm down.
Say that shit again!
One more time for the people in the back.
Wicker.
You're talking
with a
crazy with-
W.
Person with that kind of outfit you're wearing.
What's
I
he
just
wearing?
watched the trailer the other day because it has one of the Skarsgård brothers in it, and with MrsMaaam, with the kind of books you like to read, this might be up your alley.
Oh?
Yeah, here, I'll send this to
Smut?
you. You can watch it. Smut? What do you mean?
Okay, I
It's
don't-
art.
Smut. With the capital
is
smut.
There is sometimes fights in the book that I read, okay?
So
You
there's whores in your
I
book
would
is
just
what you're
be
saying.
Total... What?
You're reading about whores. Is that what you're saying?
No.
No!
All of them are whores. The other day, you vampire whore.
No, okay.
No.
Okay, she was a
Cotton
demon
4K.
lady and...
Okay, a
now-
demon whore and a whore.
Yeah, she was. Okay, that
Yeah, she
particular
was.
character was. That particular character absolutely was. But everybody else? No.
Nobody in the. Oh, so no one in the book was a whore besides that one whore.
Yes.
It's pretty sus.
That's pretty horrific.
It was.
What the fuck is wrong with me? Anyways,
Mr. Bear, what are you doing?
Mr. Bear, why are you sitting out? Who do you think you are?
Well, the other day, Mr. Ig talked to me the other day when we were all playing together on Pal World, and none of the audio came through on your guys' side.
And it's
And I
doing
was
it
trying
again.
to. Well, that's what I'm double checking. You know how you can capture the different windows
What? No.
with the.
No.
What are you talking
And
about?
you know, with the audio capture thingy in on OBS, you can capture different. You know
Oh!
right?
Yeah, all of the different fucking ups and down dials stuff.
Ow.
Yeah, well, it gives you the different options
Yeah,
of different audios to
sideways.
capture.
Inside
Yes.
out.
Well,
360,
the
no
Homie
scope.
Squad Discord pops up, but for some stupid reason, even though monitor and output is on, the Discord bar isn't going up and down. So I'm going to try something.
Check your properties.
Yeah, the properties. Let's see. Let me go to there. Properties. Yeah, window discord.exe. Is there a second option for this?
Yeah, why are you using the
Wait. Did it give me the option to scroll? No, let me give that a
Yeah, why Discord docs
I heard Archie's cough.
EXE
There it is.
General Homie Bear Squad with a bunch of hearts.
Yeah, no, there was just another option for it at the very bottom. I found it.
Miss Maaam, are you watching?
Did it give me an option to scroll?
Miss Maaam, are you on Facebook?
What? Oh.
My frames were dropping. I know what you're doing.
Oh, she's watching porn?
She's watching. She must be. My frames are dropping.
Yeah.
Beat.
And now my finger is bleeding, and it's all your fault.
Oh, what are you doing?
How is her
Witchcraft?
finger bleeding your fault? But wait,
Witchcraft.
did I hear that right? How is your finger bleeding her fault?
It's all her fault.
Mr. Bear.
Yeah, but that.
That's some of my dumb
we do.
woman.
B. Boop.
Ding dong.
Bop. Sorry.
Boop. Beep. Beep. Boop. Bop.
Oh, I was not.
What's wrong with us? We're fucking grown, by the way.
Jay.
We're
I don't
fucking
know, I'm
30.
trying to- Yeah, we are. How's that?
Oh,
Who cares? Excuse me.
Yeah.
And test for having whimsy and charm and shit. Don't hate me fucking because you're 30 and hate your life.
Yeah.
Don't
sorry,
hate
we're
me because
30 and we
I'm
wanna have
beautiful.
fun.
Maybe if you got rid of that
Basically,
yee old haircut, you get some bitches
Yeah,
on your dick. And better yet, maybe Tanisha will call your
Franklin has
dog
been
ass.
saying for years. If nobody's caught on to that, that's their problem. I changed my shit up and I'm still whimsical. They changed up and they're fucking still hateful. With their yee ass haircut.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Mr. Ig, did you ever, did you share? I saw you invited me to the collaboration, but did you ever share the chat?
No.
No.
Stupid. That's what you think you are.
Wait, what do you mean? Me? No.
Now I did.
Oh, who else? Not
Well.
the little dragon that Mr. Ig has.
Yeah. You know what? I was gonna ask, I should have just messaged Mr. Ig the other day when I saw that. I knew you were gonna get it, Mr. Ig.
Yeah, I seen it. I was like, that's Mr. Ig.
Miss Maaam got it
Yeah,
for me,
that's-
actually.
Oh, so we all know your taste then. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that looks sick. And then Miss Maaam thought about getting it, and then she was like, no, I'm gonna get this guy. And she got,
It fits
a
more
booby. She got booby.
Oh, she got the boba?
Yeah, and named it Booby or something.
That's adorable. I like the little bee.
Yeah, that's what it is, right? It's called Booby?
Oh, did she get the bee or did she get the boba? The boba. Sorry, I sound like I'm just making up.
The
Here, I'm gonna go get my goat. Hold on.
the Bebo. The bee.
The bee boop bop.
Yeah. And she got it pink.
Oh, you can make him pink? That's a...
Yeah, she got a pink little bee with a little hat on, and then I got the dragon.
That looks like a hilarious movie.
What did you name your bee, Miss Maaam?
Booby.
Nice. Were you sitting back giggling?
Oh, bye, Miss Babe.
Did it?
I'm gonna
She's
go into
leaving
my
and coming
account so
back.
I can. I'm gonna go into my account so I can play with my booby.
Oh, I want to play with your booby.
Come do it.
Mike's on by.
Yeah, that's fine.
What? What?
I've been saying the same shit for like the past 3 years, so it's alright.
Like Mike's on by.
Mike's never been off.
It stays on. That bitch stay on.
Yeah, they probably heard me have sex.
That's tight.
Probably.
The FBI agents heard. That's cool.
That's fine.
You know how everybody has an FBI agent?
Yeah.
They
I mean-
really pop up.
Yeah, I mean, that's why there's a camera on your phone, is they're always watching.
Can you lay down?
Always watching, Wazowski. Always
Lay
watching.
down.
Wood.
Am I still here?
Oh.
Am I ready to play yet? Not yet.
Wood.
Fortnite asked me.
Yeah, Fortnite just asked.
Oh no.
Are you still there?
Hello, knock knock.
I'm here. I'm here. Request to
No, you're
join.
not. Why?
Not. No,
I am.
Why?
Beat you up, RJ.
RJ, if you do that right, it sounds like that cry from the movie Obsession. You know that, right?
That one?
Yeah, that one, RJ.
I'm surprised I'm really decent at that.
Yeah, no, not
though.
Good job, nice job.
Oh, that kind of hurt.
Oh, the bee is so fucking cute. Oh my god, I'm gonna pet it right away when I get in there.
No, you won't.
Did you hear what her name is?
Yeah.
Tits.
No, RJ.
No.
Basically.
But it's
No.
it's spelled booby as B-U-U-B-E-E.
That's adorable.
It's so cute.
Right?
It looks very kickable though.
It kind
Stop
of does.
it.
You're fickle.
It looks like kickable. Like it won't hurt it. It's like SpongeBob. You won't hurt it. It has no thought. Look at it. Look at its eyes. No thought. Just be.
Right.
It's just beautiful.
Yeah, just no thought in that head. You just happy to be here.
Yeah. He's so cute. Oops,
I mean,
stop
super
staring at
kickable.
chocolate. You don't get it.
Kick the bumblebee.
No.
Kick the bee. Where is it? I'm gonna kick it. Hiya!
No.
Again. Hiya!
Get out of here, RJ.
Hiya!
Fight you.
Here, I want to pet it.
I'm gonna kick. Hold on. I'm gonna kick it. I'm gonna kick it.
You know
Get
what?
out of here.
I'm gonna
Let me-
get. Where are you?
let me get-
Where are you? Get over here.
Let me kick.
Get over
Kick
here.
the bee. Get the little ass over here. I hate you.
Stop it. Stop it. You get over here. Be nice to that bee. It what brings us pollination and flowers.
Bee.
Exactly. Thank
Maybe.
Maybe.
More like beyond the space-time continuum.
Ooh, I
That
would
went hard.
love to love on you, but you need to sit down.
That was a super stretch. I'm sorry.
It worked. It flowed.
Thanks, I appreciate it, King. Oh, so I got a Sprite that will help.
It'll help? Hell yeah, dude.
Get out, RJ. It'll help.
I'm not sure what it's helping with, but it'll help.
Boost your XP for your.
Ooh,
Nice.
let's go. Let's go.
Because the dude I'm running, I want to get out of here
Instead of I think
fast.
like 150, 250. Don't quote me on that.
I'm gonna quote you.
250.
See how that goes.
I'm quoting.
Let me know what you guys get when you guys open.
Can I get 25, 25, give me a 30, give me a 30, give me a 34, 4, for the
Imagine
45,
give you 69 XP.
Whoa. Get 'em.
My manager, today I had a meeting.
Oh, great.
My
Way to go,
manager
RJ. Now you got the
was-
managers involved.
Wait, manager has.
It does.
Huh?
Manager has what?
Manager has man in it. Is he okay with that?
Nope.
Oh, sorry. Sam. You can't have a
wait, I had a
manager.
His name's Brandon.
Oh, that's even worse.
Oh, I love him.
Mr. Bear.
Is it the one that I'm thinking of?
Hey, it's that guy.
From my new job?
Oh, not your new job.
You know
Sorry.
Brandon from my new job?
Not your new
Oh, I
job.
already
but you know
leveled
the one-
him
you
up
know what, the
twice.
one. Okay, the one from the old job. The one from the old job. I love Brandon from the old job.
No, Brandon from the new job.
Okay, but you know what, who I'm talking about, though, right?
Why am I so?
No.
Oh, you never worked with Brandon?
Oh, you're all over it.
No.
Schmoo.
Oh, never mind. Continue.
Mr. Bear, I got a present
Oh.
for you.
Oh no,
But
run.
he got
Open
called
your
away
butt.
to a different meeting and he had to send somebody else in and he was like, oh yeah, and then this is the password into the thing. And he sent it into the chat. It was Vikings69.
Go to jail.
I was like, what a password, buddy.
Oh, is that
What a
you,
password.
Mr. Bear? Mr. Bear. Why are you running from me, whore?
Building.
Let's go!
Thank you, Spoops. Just stay there. Don't move.
Oops!
Please.
I finally fucking sat down. Oh, I just got a galaxy fish sprite.
That's
Word.
a Dory Bell.
Or maybe it's a cube?
You're
I
a
don't
cube.
know.
Is it like
Oh,
really, really
Jesus.
dark? Is it really like dark purple?
That's your
like
wife.
Really, really dark purple with a light in the middle?
Yeah, galaxy.
Yeah.
She said, "You're a cube."
Hi,
Alright, we're
Torgie.
like 12 laughing at.
Hi, Mr. Egg. If you really wanted to, could you make that dragon look like Spyro, or did they not make it close? Oh, it flies! Of
Yeah,
course it flies. It's a dragon.
they don't make it purple.
Drinking these nuts across your face.
Oh.
Oh, hey, there's a bank
RJ!
shot. You want a
Yeah?
bank shot?
Oh. MrsMaaam?
Why was she moaning like that?
You want a
What
bank
are you
shot?
doing?
No, I'm okay. That was a sigh, not a moan. Sigh at RJ's terrible humor.
LOL.
Gee,
I don't even know what I said. What'd I say?
something racist.
Try getting these nuts out of your face.
Funny, holy fuck. I don't even remember what I said.
Purple Ranger pistol.
Sorry, I don't know why I made. I legit forgot what we were talking about.
RJ laughs at himself. He forgot what he said. He was like, "Hey, that was pretty fucking funny. Way to go, me."
Exactly. Holy shit, I'm.
I do that all the time, dude. I
That's
do that
fucking
all the
funny.
time.
Because sometimes I'm just talking, bro. Just
Twitch clip that.
and so there are times where I'm not yapping. And oh, I said that?
Yeah, sometimes when I'm going
that's
back and
funny.
watching our streams, I'll say something and then I'll like look back and like re-listen to it. And I'm just like, damn, that was awesome. Way to go, me.
Wait, you just pat yourself on the back row.
I was like, yeah, that was a good one.
Is that a fucking person? That is. I'm walking like they're my teammate.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, we were walking by each other like.
What are you guys
Shit.
doing in Storm? Well, Mr. Egg, what were you doing in Storm, man?
I'm working on it. Slowly but
That's a
surely.
good answer. Good answer. Good answer. I'll take it.
Thanks, man.
Nah, bring that ass here, boy.
I'm gonna bring that ass there in a circle.
Where am I getting shot at from?
There's whores behind me. Miss Mam's type.
RJ, I love
Wait,
you. I haven't
RJ?
had a Grimp Creeper. I haven't had a Grimp Sprite yet. I love you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Because I gave
Ow.
Mr. Ig one. Oh, they're up there. Be careful.
Oh, I just thought I saw somebody down there. Yeah, there's people down there. People down there. Watch out, RJ.
Yeah, I got their home.
Got one. Turkey, your big ass was in the way.
Bitch.
Sorry.
I threw the clip at. I love that shit.
Oh, I'm going down. I'm going down. They're logging onto me.
Woo! Woo!
I threw a clip at him. Ooh,
It's Pomni. It's Pomni. Got him.
Uh-oh.
A gummy air
I'll take
sprite.
that.
Oh, nice job. Nice job.
Good comms, peeps. Good comms.
My skin, I need health. Shit. Hold forward, homie.
Holding forward. Also healing.
Forward, forward, forward.
Mm,
Epic Vault key card.
ooh, that's for like somewhere in the city, like a.
Somewhere in the city. Oh, that's not. It's time to
The
party.
city of Compton.
In
City
the
of-
city. Oh, is that how it goes?
I think so.
In the
In the city.
I was just guessing.
City of
Yeah.
city
Compton.
of Compton.
Then.
You keep it right.
Okay.
Keep
We
it
keep it
rocking.
rocking.
Oh,
Now let me welcome everybody to
To the Wild Wild West.
the state that's untouchable.
what are you guys singing?
That
I have
fucking
no
song.
idea.
Tupac. You don't know Tupac? The one time I don't joke.
Disrespect on rap culture.
Low key, I'm a
Damn.
fan.
Get
My
into
name's Zane.
rap culture. That's how I was probably like 19.
Her
okay?
rap culture is MGK.
Fucking
Yeah,
Eminem.
that's
Like,
as
which,
much as I knew
Still.
until I was older.
That's crazy.
was it like banned?
Yeah.
Kinda, because the
My
swear
mother
words
found
and
out
shit.
that I was. Yeah, my mother found out that I was listening to like that I was listening to MGK. I was like, okay, because you can't. Okay, we had a family computer, and I was not allowed to have like social medias or like do anything like that. So like listening to music was like radio only, unless you wanted to listen to it off the speakers of the family computer. And so I didn't want to do that. And so my dad had taught me how to like basically pirate audiobooks from the library,
yeah.
and I could
Shout out to
listen to
Dad.
them
We used to download
on my
LimeWire.
MP3 player. Yeah, well, so I did that. I took that, and then I started doing that to music from
Shout out to
the
LimeWire,
library.
bro. Made
And
us
so I
all
started-
fucking evil.
Well, and I started pirating music from the library, and then my mother found out that I was pirating like Eminem and like Drake and stuff like that. And then,
Drake?
like,
What the
That
fuck?
should be
it said parental advisory on it. That's all I was looking for. I
Oh
wanted
my
something
god,
angry
Drake
and-
of all
So-
things, parental advisory?
Wait, what album? What album?
I didn't get to find out because she canceled my order. So yeah. So that's as far as that went.
That's crazy.
What?
What?
Open. I used the. Okay, there it is. Okay.
Oh, I
I'm
hear
still
a gunshot.
flabbergasted by Drake. We're not even close
Okay,
to being together.
it said, gummy punk Sprite.
You're a gummy
What?
punk, right?
Oh, look at Miss Ma'am getting
it
all
said
the good
parental
ones.
advisory. Okay, that's all I was looking for. Dream Sprite.
Where are you, Miss Ma'am? Why are you doing all the way over there?
I got a
Ava.
key card for it, so I was running over here to hit the key card.
I was.
Well, you're in Storm, and
I see that. I'm aware.
it's closing.
I know. I'm aware.
She's not fully. She's semi-aware, but
No, she's a badass, is what she is. But still,
No, she
I
isn't.
don't want her to get. I don't want her to get
Okay.
storm sickness and have it die faster.
a job's a job, mister.
I'm on my way.
Oh, we got peeps. We got peeps.
Where are you?
Where at?
guys?
Where at?
Down here.
Oh, I don't have good enough weapons for the giant.
I teleported.
Knocked.
Nice.
Oh, you guys are smoking them. Get they asses.
Knock another.
Get
There's
them,
sprays
mister. Oh, I found a gun. I hear they at.
from behind. I forgot we were in squads.
Got
Up
him.
close and personal. Here's another one.
Oh,
They're coming in.
Someone's. Oh, there.
Oh, I missed. Reloading.
Oh my fucking god.
What was your plan, homegirl?
Oh, what the hell? Oh, shit.
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here. I'm alive. I'm okay.
That was bad.
Hello.
Here, I'm trying to get the boots. There we go.
Party's
Alright,
over.
I want that sniper rifle.
Oh my god, I had boots.
Oh, you want
Mr. Bear, do you have this?
Okay, limitless.
Have what?
7 glider. How do I?
No.
These
the
were my
boots?
plan.
Two of
Nice.
these. I'm using this right now.
That was stupid.
I'll take the shotgun.
Yeah, take the shotgun. Thank you. Oh, that's so cool. Thanks, RJ.
You're welcome.
So you know-
Did you, I
Kisses
heard you guys,
later.
you guys get one last game?
The llama?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
You know how it works? Miss.Maaam taught me.
Oh my God,
what does it do
that's
again?
stupid.
You open ammo chests and you have to not move. You can't move an inch, and it'll potentially open up a wheel to upgrade your weapon if you have it equipped.
Oh, that
You
doesn't
have to
sound
have the weapon that you want to upgrade equipped, though. If you don't have it equipped, it will not upgrade the
Hold on,
weapon.
Miss
If you
Maaam.
cycle, if you move, I'm just calling it extraction. Don't worry.
That,
I
yeah,
got super speedy fast boots that I
I need-
didn't use to get out of the storm. Because I'm super intelligent.
no. Wait for me. I'm trying to extract some stuff too.
Look at all these guys.
They're just following you.
There's so many sprites. They're so cute.
I did hear.
Yeah, I saw a
violence.
TikTok video of when someone running the extract,
You
they
want
had
this
like
one?
4 or 5 sprites chasing them.
I was gonna grab him.
Oh
yeah,
shit!
yeah,
Oh, that's
one
Mr. Bear.
for the-
What the fuck,
Batman.
Bro.
bitch? What up?
Let me see you shake that
Let me
ass.
see you do that.
Ho!
Nice job, Les.
You thought. Oh, you can extract that hollow foil if you want, RJ.
Oh, okay. No, I might need a sprite.
There's another air sprite over here.
Thank you.
Yeah, I read this one.
Oh wait, was it that
hold
one?
on, hold on. No, it's this one. Hold on. I was trying to pick up the portal.
Ah!
Take it.
Oh,
Get it. Out.
Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. I still gave it to you. Take it.
I just want the movement.
Yeah, keep
having
your
some-
movement.
Away. Yeah, that's why there was an air sprite over here. I was.
No,
gonna
he
pick
gave it
up.
to me.
I just got
Yep,
shot
RJ's
at.
good. RJ's good.
I just got shot at.
I have health if anybody.
Footy steps.
I
Lads.
found the health kit. Health kit. Oh shit.
Oh, here you go, Mrs. Maaam.
Where are they? Where'd they go? There they are.
Oh shit.
Knocked one.
No, I don't want to take that. No, motherfucker. It auto-equipped the portal that I did not want to use.
Oh,
Oh shit, RJ.
Wait.
I won.
What? What? Oh, let's go.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice
yeah.
job.
Nice.
I didn't even realize that was the end of the game. What the hell?
I didn't either.
Yeah, me either.
RJ and I just found some peace and we fucked him
Good
up.
job, RJ. Oh yeah.
Nice, guys. Nice. Nice, good haul. Get that shit out of Mr. Igg's chat. Who are you? To the squishy
Kill them.
realm.
Get sent to squish.
Get this into the
Send them to
squish.
hit.
Are we going to, did we go to lobby?
Yeah, we gotta change our skin.
Yeah, we have to change skins.
Oh, right, victory. Right.
It's the law.
It is
Running to
the
Miss-
law. Oh. Alright, I'm gonna change skin and then I gotta grab something for the wife.
Alright, well, I'm gonna take that
Oh my
time to-
god! No way. Okay, hold on. The
Thank
lava
you,
is
Charmander.
already updated?
Oh yeah, he's a pilot.
I was just telling Tyra about how you guys might need a different bed for Benson.
You mean?
Oh.
Yeah, I knew it was good. That wasn't gonna be last very long because he's already so tall.
Get a pack
Well,
and
and
play.
it's not just the tall thing. It's the if your kid sleep crawls, all they're gonna do in a crib, there's not very much room for them to move around. They're just gonna hit their heads and wake themselves up. That's what happened over and over and over again with Ezra, and that's why we ended up getting him the floor bed that we did.
Oh, could you send me a link to that or send me a
Amazon.
photo? Cause I was just
I sent
talking
one to
about that
Tyra.
with RJ. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, he
Because I
was
was just
telling
talking
about
about that with RJ.
Boobs.
What's
Why
right?
can't I find that new skin, RJ? The one with where you can show the sprites in the helmet. There it is.
Danny butt.
They updated it with the new sprites, so I can. Llama.
I don't wanna...
I'll send you the link though. You need one that has cloth. The mistake we made when we bought Alice's is I didn't check the reviews and it's like a plasticky fabric. So
Uh-huh.
it's not very nice.
Mr. Bear.
Nice.
Mr. Bear.
Well, so
That's kinda
okay,
sad.
okay. So what I had to do was we put the mattress topper underneath, and that works out perfect because you don't have to worry about any kind of fitted sheets because it's like a particular size. So it just
Right.
fits completely perfectly underneath there, and then there's no seams or nothing. But because the plasticky material, it gets really like sweaty and it's uncomfortable to lay on. So I ended up having to sew like a blanket mat thing to the bottom of our one for Alice, and I did not have to do that with Ezra's because Ezra's was fabric and Alice's is like plastic. So Alice's, I made a mistake on that. So it needs to be a fabric. They did made it plastic of me too. plasticky material because it's not meant to be like, you know, it's not meant to be a bed. It's a playpen, okay? But if you zip tie the zipper shut, then it's a floor bed, and the walls are tall enough where your kid's not gonna go, you know, rolling out of bed. He's not gonna be able to climb out because there's nothing for him to be able to grab onto. It worked for Ezra until he was about 2 years old. And then he decided he didn't want to try to escape like a normal kid. He was going to tear through the mesh. So he started poking holes in the mesh to try to like poke his way out.
Jesus.
So, yeah. So,
Gangster.
so we ended up just switching him to a floor bed with bumpers.
Gangster.
Yeah. So it was like it was silly.
Oh. Well, okay. Something I gotta think about then. Nice.
It's just for when he gets bigger, when he starts understanding that he can break through the mesh if he tries hard enough.
Consistency
then-
is key, so...
Yeah.
Thanks, RJ.
Hey!
Good.
Kids are fucking crazy, dude!
Yeah, no.
Kids aren't normal!
I think I'm understanding that now.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you will. Miss Mom, I really... So fucking
really
cool.
what?
Dog? Can I pet that dog?
Oh, thanks, Mr. Babe got it for me.
Yeah, that one's really fucking cool.
Oh, alright. Yeah, no, I gotta
look, oh
see
my
the
God, I
photos
need
that you
this.
sent her.
Skin friendly fabric. I think
There
this
we
is
go.
the one you want.
Can I pet that dog?
Can we pet that dog? No,
Pet that
damn it,
dog.
now that's stuck in my head.
Torgie,
I'm doing it. I just was
What are you doing?
picking my wrap.
what are you doing?
Picking a skin.
No.
I mean, finish.
Oh wow,
What?
we are a
What?
pretty bunch. First of all, second of all,
What's up?
would you like to do a cube sprite? Do you have any cube? Oh, never mind. All right, cool.
Well, you know, I didn't even get a chance to respond, and I think I brought in a level 5 sprite anyway, so another
Why,
response.
Mr. Bear? You should level...
I was trying to pick a different one, but I didn't get the chance.
I have a hollow foil sprite on me right now. If anyone's down to trade.
I'll trade
I
you,
am bringing
Nick.
a Sprite.
You
What?
didn't bring a Sprite?
Oh no!
She's too busy
Really?
talking about stuff.
I was. Okay, I shared it with you, Torgie. So what you want to do is you want to get that mattress,
And whip out
or
your
you want to
dick.
get that playpen, and then no, and then and then you need a mattress topper.
That one?
Wow.
Nope.
Wasn't ready.
Oh, poopy! I jumped.
Where we going?
I mean, over that way.
Towards the pink?
I'm dying.
The purple?
That burble?
Does that look pink to you?
A little bit.
Are you colorblind?
I want to see something pink.
No, they're similar colors. They're like brother and sister.
Are you a silly salamander?
No, I'm a silly.
Yeah.
My lungs are now wheezing because of you, Mrs. Babe.
GG's.
Wait, why?
More like wheeze.
Because I said whip out your dick and you were in mid-conversation as this said no and I wasn't ready for you to actually respond. Normally RJ is the only
Ready.
one that actually hears me.
Not true.
Well, in
not
those
true at all.
in those instances, normally yeah, and then RJ and I just kind of bullshit in the sidelines.
Yeah, I want stuff.
I have no money.
Me and Mr. Luke would probably be those kids.
Probably.
We would get separated so.
Yeah, they would just be like, "All right, guys, you can pick your teammates," and then RJ and I look at each other and instantly start giggling.
But not you two.
But exactly. But not you. Especially.
Yeah, definitely not you.
Hello?
Because we would be too OP. That's why, Mr. Egg.
Yeah, we would get absolutely nothing
Yeah.
and everything done at the same time.
Exactly. They're gonna be, how did everything right, but you just...
But you goofed the whole time.
We just did.
We're just built different.
That's the right answer, but you used the wrong formula.
Yeah, we got this somehow, but we ended up getting it right anyway.
Yeah, so who cares?
Don't know how you got here.
But you did it.
Yeah, it's like when teachers say show your work, and you're just like, "Pfft, you show your work on how you became a teacher, nerd."
Get him!
You should... Yo.
How did you get here? I'm not showing
Yeah, let me
shit.
see your diploma.
Yeah, let me see your
That
degree.
sounds like an immediate visit to the office.
I don't
Oh,
give
yeah,
a
I'm
fuck. I
kidding.
want to
Yeah,
see
it
that degree. I want to see that degree.
I am the
You want me?
guy.
You want me to show my work? Let me see yours.
Yeah, teachers always yapping like, oh, what about your...
Hello, my friend. We are not friends.
We are.
I am
Oh,
murdering.
oh, hi, Miss Babe.
Hello,
Oh,
hello.
hello.
There's a
Idiot.
lot of murdering going on there.
There is.
Hell yeah.
Sounds like fun.
That's cool.
I like myrtleizing.
Yeah. Like so hot.
Woo!
Oh, hey, I had conversation
Woo!
starters.
What? What's up?
But we already started like 1,000
I know, but then we had like 2 seconds of silence, and then I was like, hey, we could fill
Oh,
this.
conversation.
Okay, so
I think
I
someone's
gotta.
behind me.
Okay, hold on. Wait, I gotta find it. I gotta dig. In my butt, twin. Weren't expecting me to come around that corner, were you? Idiot. Stupid.
Be a jerk.
That's me.
Oops.
I like how your dragon celebrates.
Oh,
Me too.
What the fuck? Where'd he go? Get over here.
Reloading.
stupid.
Well,
What do we got?
we got more gun for you.
Punk
Oh,
Sprite.
This man was over there. What's that? I see a Sprite over here. Oh, it's a peanut.
Cheese nut.
No, peanut.
You
Okay.
guys already
I dropped it because I'm already got peanut maxed, and then I found
Drop
the
that,
cheese
dump
right.
that on.
Apparently, I don't have that one maxed.
God damn, that's like the 10th fucking punk sprite
He just wants to be your friend.
that I got one.
What's wrong with having more?
Who am I?
RJ?
Give these sprites sadly.
Oh.
I'm going. I'm going.
Wait a minute. How do you? You're ready.
There's someone flying in top of you.
On top of me?
I seen somebody gliding.
Why did I do that?
I didn't hear anybody gliding.
Maybe I'm tripping.
Maybe
Wait a
they're.
second.
I'm tripping!
You.
They got caught in the sus crossfire or something.
Wait, hello.
You're always in the crossfire.
Me?
Yep.
No, that's you.
Oh,
This thing.
You're in the sus. There's a. Oh, epic vault key?
Yeah.
Ooh.
300 meters
We
away.
are going towards the sinister. We can. Yeah, I
Scoot
think
up,
it's.
Mr. Babe.
Yeah, lead the way, Mr. Babe.
Mr. Hot Babe.
Hey, you guys are not allowed to call him that.
Fine.
don't care what you say.
fine. Whoa!
Win.
See, I was gonna respect your answer, but no, RJ's just like.
I don't.
RJ has been the
fuck?
home wrecker for a while.
Yeah, dude, you forgot
Yeah.
my role here? Second
No,
husband.
I remember. I
What is
remember. I
happening
remember.
with this bot? This bot is just gliding.
Yeah, I see her gliding. She has no.
She's a little
movement.
broken.
She's
a little
fine.
special.
Harley has it.
Oh, billboard skinwalkers.
What'd you find?
Ah! Wait, I might have him.
Gummy 7 Sprite.
I might have him already.
Goomiest?
Oh, I
Yeah,
just
do you
picked
already
up
have
Peanut?
peanut?
I have Peanut.
I'm surprised they didn't give Peanut very.
Get out of here,
Anybody
Peanut.
have a gold aura Sprite?
God, you know, I really wish they would check mark on whether or not you actually
Yeah, I
have
wish
them.
there was
Like,
a list.
That's
wish
why
there was like a list you can look at.
that's why I try to max them out when I get them, so that way I can tell which ones I do have because it's already maxed.
Well,
Dude,
I
that's
know
kinda
for a
hot.
fact I haven't. I know I maximized this King Sprite. I accidentally brought him with me, but I don't know if. Does anybody have a Gummy 7 Sprite?
I do, but I don't have them maxed.
Okay.
I do not
RJ?
have a Gummy 7 Sprite.
Here,
I
Miss Maaam. Do you have enough room for it?
Yes.
She does now.
There we
Yep, I do now.
go. Woo! You're welcome.
Harley Quinn is totally broken.
Woo!
Whoa! Holy shit, Mr. Bear! Oh my god! Scared the shit out of me.
jump scare.
Yeah, you came flying through like 3 walls.
He said,
Oh.
woo!
Twitch clip that. That was awesome. Whoa! I found Spider-Man.
What do you mean you found Spider-Man? Where is he? I want to
Oh,
talk
the
to him.
gloves. Oh,
I'm the whipping.
Where is he? Where
lad.
is he? I want to talk to him.
Oh, you can't talk to him.
Oh.
I just stole webs. I found him. I found a backpack on the wall.
oh, nice.
Oh, you found the backpack?
Oh yeah, they're still in the game. They're just not
Someone's flying
every
in.
fucking match.
I can't break through. I can't break through. Why can't I break through?
I found
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
son of a
Oh my god, I
bitch.
found Spider-Man.
Uh-oh.
Help! 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 Help me, please.
Where are you?
Lord help me! Lord help me! Oh.
Lord help me, Jesus.
Oh.
I was right behind. I was right behind him, but I thought he was there. Hold on. Why is my NPC not helping you?
Lord forgive me for I have sinned.
He's dead.
Oh my god, I
Oh,
can
you
barely
didn't
even
believe in
shoot.
God.
I don't. Anyway,
Fucking
so billboard
Does not
skinwalkers.
Father forgive me before I. Before I
Oh, what
have
the
sinned.
fuck? How'd you?
I don't believe in fathers either.
It's Daddy, forgive me. I've been bad.
That sounds
Whoa.
sexual.
That's hot.
Duh.
Say that to me at night, Mich-
Whoa!
Stay.
Yeah.
Whoa!
What is going on over there?
We all just got gangbanged by one team that just came out of the blue.
Oh,
That nobody was ready for.
In the arms.
RJ, you're such a
of an
meme.
angel.
This is for you guys.
You're such a meme every time.
I love it, RJ.
Oh,
If you can make it to my body, RJ, I don't know if you can. I had gold boots, but somebody probably picked them up.
probably. There's
So,
so many
Miss-
people over there.
Okay, so Miss Maaam, we have something like this, but I just don't. I've tried to put it together. I just cannot seem to figure it out. It takes up a lot of space, but I know what you have. This baby playpen 50 by 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my mom sent up and everything.
Yeah, it will take up a lot of space in their room. Like
Yeah.
I would put it towards, so until Ezra figured out how the zipper worked, I didn't zip tie it shut. So I would just leave the zipper open during the day when he was running around and playing. And then at night then I would close it.
No.
You know, I've seen a lot of moms on TikTok flipping it upside down and turning it into a fort.
I did do that. Ezra didn't care for it.
Oh, well.
he's too spastastic for it.
Yeah, he did not want to just sit down there
Smash-tastic.
and play with a toy or like read a book. We have it into a ball pit right now. RJ, what are you
I'm
doing
looking,
so
looking
broke?
for gold. I don't have.
RJ's a broke bitch.
Looks like you
I
got
am.
you gotta go in and sweep us off our dead feet.
Let's get
All
it.
of the dead feets.
You can touch my toes. I give permission. There might be powder in it though.
RJ, when I start making money and getting rich, we're gonna come to your state and come say hi.
No, it's too hot.
Okay,
We'll
I'd
come
rather it
when
be
it's
hot
not so
than muggy.
We'll come in the winter time.
Your winter
And then
time
it
will be
won't
like
be-
fall to us.
Basically.
Yeah, it'll be so awesome because we'll get to get away from all of the snow. RJ, there's so many people.
Someone's coming with
Oh
me.
my
though.
God.
Holy shitty tits!
I'm away!
Oh my mama! What?
What?
Oh shit!
Oh, what the fuck?
What was that animation?
Excuse me?
I just rose from the grave.
That was crazy.
Stupid game.
Pretty stinky game.
I went to the lobby.
We got a what?
That's what the problem is. We have to be Spider-Mans.
It's 8:46.
We're in us.
Fuck it, let's run one more as Spider-Man.
have
As all
Gwen.
Spider-Man? Oh, you have Gwen? That'll work.
Oh. Eventually.
Life.
Oh, 2 Gwens?
Wait, are you putting mask on or mask off, Mr. Bear?
I think I only have, for my Spider-Mans, I only have 2 of them, and they both have mask on.
Okay, then I'll do this.
In fact, I'm going to be a symbiote Spider-Man.
Nice,
Maybe.
nice.
Oh,
Cool, because then between you and Mr. Babe, we can't see the bulge.
Oh.
Do you need to see the bulge?
No, I don't want to see the bulge. That's what I'm
Okay.
saying. I was like, cool.
Good.
what if we
Good.
need?
Babe. Mr. Babe's like,
Spider-Man, more like.
I'll give you a fucking bulge.
Wiener Man.
Gosh.
Oops, I need you to lay down.
Does he want to sit in your lap?
He does, but he just wants to crawl all over it. He doesn't want to actually lay down.
Oh, nope. I know
Maybe they're
exactly
not comfortable.
how that is.
Swoops is 16 pounds, so he's just heavy little needle feet.
16 pounds.
Needle feet.
Fluff.
Down.
Fork off.
Ah.
Nice.
Doink.
I got a Spider-Man glider too.
Lay down.
right?
Whoops. Lay down. I will pet you, but you need to lay down. Oh my god. Equip a sprite. Equip a sprite. Equip. Equip. Sprite. Sprite.
You got it. I know you.
You got this, Miss Ma'am.
I believe.
I did it this time.
Good job, Miss Babe.
We knew you could.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't.
Oh.
Miss Barry, you got radio.
I know. Hold on. Oh my god.
That's-
Wait
Don't care. Ask it.
Shut up. I'm doing it.
Are you?
Our
Yes, I just did.
Not fast
Torgie and I
enough.
are Bulge Boys.
You know what?
Mr. Bear, you know what I
Poor
think of that
Torgie.
information?
What?
Aw.
So much for that.
You-
I got super cool shoes on.
Sick nasty.
We're both wearing Converse, right?
I
They were
forgot
both
I have
wearing
actual
Converse.
Converse.
Oh no, you're wearing Nikes. But still, cool shoes. Yeah.
Bulge Boys, yeah, that's us.
Oh my god.
Bulge boys back. All right.
Alright.
All right. I'm out here with my big bulge.
Oh my god.
Let's
The walk on that animation.
Wow.
So, Miss Ma'am, you're gonna get a
Big bulge
Gwen
out.
Stacy, right?
More like Bulge Stacy.
I mean. I'm gonna go here.
LOL.
I need some coffee.
Some what?
Hold up,
Yeah.
I was gonna say Torgy has no problem with that.
I
Wait a
have a problem
minute.
with that.
I have a problem with you.
Me too. Wanna fight?
Well,
I'll fight you.
I'll fight you.
do it.
No, you won't.
Come up here. Take
1v1
my glasses
here.
off.
Whoa!
Whoa. Yeah,
I'll
pin
take
her
my
on the
pants
bed.
off. I'll take my pants
No!
off.
RJ,
Yes,
don't
please.
participate!
Hold both her arms down.
Stop it!
Yeah! Do it!
Call her names.
Put my leg on your shoulder.
Spit in her mouth.
Hey,
Put
guys!
your leg
that one.
on my
Don't do that one. I'd
shoulder.
My bad. I'd barf, she
Too
said.
far. Too far.
Imagine him as a...
That literally is coming out.
Oh my god, you
Rub
got
in his mouth.
Oh, Careful, Mr. Egg. Beat they ass.
I did.
Get 'em.
Baby.
Take your friend back. He stinks.
Bitch. Bitch. Bitch times 2.
Oh wait, I don't have a gun anymore.
Bitch times 3.
RJ, I'm out of ammo.
Baby.
Got
Nice.
him.
You
Oh, where did that? Oh, that was you, Mr. Bear. Holy shit.
He's jump scaring tonight.
You out of nowhere.
Whoa. RJ.
What? What RJ doing?
RJ and I both tried to get through this window at the same time. And then it wasn't a window that you could vault through. So we're just sitting here like shoulder checking each other.
I just had fun.
Cause of them hips.
Who tick?
Got that right.
Whoa. Wood.
How much could a woodchuck wood?
I'm not sure. Never asked. Yeah, run, coward.
This tiny town didn't have shit.
I just got fucking sniped at.
You and I should fall in love.
Not on my watch.
I see them.
Mark them.
Hello.
Fergie said no falling in love.
Yeah, that's just.
You motherfucker. Yeah, you better
Little
fucking run. Stay away from Mr. Egg.
Thanks, guys.
That was just Torgy. RJ and I were over here fucking around.
No, I was there.
Thanks, Mr. Bear. Alright.
You're welcome. Sorry. I don't know where they went.
Violence.
I need ammo and stuff.
Stuff you like.
What?
You know what that sounds like?
A me problem?
Sprite.
And guess what? I solved the problem.
I guess I'm chop. Boot chop butt.
Are you fucking joking?
Really?
I'll chop your butt.
Please, from behind.
Mm-hmm.
Or the front.
Oh, I get to choose?
Yeah, pick and choose, Mr.
Hmm.
All you can eat ass fat.
Mmm.
Damn.
The way he's.
Making me
Oh.
choosy. Chip! Spider-Man! Chip! I don't know why I swung backwards. I don't know why I keep swinging backwards.
Because you're spicy like.
What the fuck?
What the fudge'em?
Mm-hmm.
What the mix was it?
The McSquisms?
Hey,
It's not that intense, Miss Babe. You can calm down.
I hit the launch pad. That's what I was excited about. Okay, jeez. Ooh, what's this? What's in this treasure chest?
I don't remember anybody
Nothing.
asking.
Yeah, literally nothing. That's super lame.
We are all split up.
Hey, RJ.
Yes.
How come we haven't thought about our sprite locators?
I only really on Saturdays.
Oh, are they not? Do you not use? Are they not useful on Mondays?
No, they are, but
What the
Chance-
fuck am I doing?
I see.
yeah.
God, why does that have to be so far away from you guys? It's like right here.
That's what she
What?
said.
Hold on, I got boots. I had a chest that spawned with a sprite locator, but it was just a little far from you guys. But I got boots. I'm gonna see what happens when I
babe.
go here.
That's what Torgie said.
Did you just assume Torgie's gender?
Tell you about assuming.
I mean, his name is Mr. Bear. So
It makes an
Mrs.
ass.
Bear.
It makes an ass
Whoa!
out of you and Ming.
It's Senora Bear.
you're a something bear.
No, say it. You got.
Say it with your whole chest. Come on.
Senor. And if you want to get spicy, Senorita.
Señorita.
There
Hey,
you
bruh.
go.
And if you're really spicy, you call him a puta.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She'll love that.
Yeah,
She'll love. Puta.
That'll get your knob slobbed on for sure.
Well, she'll be forever.
She'll never let it go.
Nope. You might even end up having love. His. Sorry, that little giggle. Like all cute.
Whoa, hello. Oh, I just pulled up on
Are
a
you
whole
guys,
team
are
on
you guys
accident.
extracting over there?
I'm extracting.
Hey guys, I'm bringing a party
He's
to
lighting
you.
off fireworks over here.
Hey Torgie, I'm bringing a party to you.
All right, let's see if they come over here. Hold on. All right, I wanted to extract that banana sprite. I'm gonna keep. I already, since I discovered the llama.
That was funny.
They're here. Torgie, they have arrived.
Where?
I want to arrive
I can't see them. Are they in the bush?
No, they're right in front of that tree.
in your butt.
Ah, missed my fucking shot.
Knock two.
Man, they're fast. Son of a bitch, stand still.
I think
Oh,
they're
yeah,
healing.
not
Team over
today.
here by me.
Yeah, they're healing behind that tree.
Oh shit, there's people right here.
Oh,
I guess that was the teammate.
Nice.
Nice.
Way to go, lads.
How's there? Oh shit.
MrsMaaam.
What is she doing?
Doing.
hey.
Oh,
Did she say she won?
I don't.
I was, Winnie. I
don't-
was.
Oh.
I don't think you did though.
No, in the end.
Close but no cigar.
I'm running to the closest reboot van.
Oh shit.
I got her.
All right.
Knocked him.
What the fuck? There's a Spider-Man bitch on me.
Oh shit! Like a Spider-Man chasing us?
No, they have the webs.
Oh shit!
Yeah, be careful. Oh, Mr. Rick behind you.
Yep. I'm running.
Thanks, MrsMaaam. I wish it showed you where you died last.
Yeah,
Down.
it doesn't do it in this mode, but it'll do it in reload, and I don't know why.
Ooh, I was fighting
A little bit of
fuckers
loot up here, not
up.
too much. I got some
Knocked one.
mini ammo. I'm not using any of my mini ammo, MrsMaaam, and there's a rapid fire SMG up here if you're interested.
I'm coming up here with you, mister.
I am.
Nice.
My toe finally cracked.
Scared the shit out of me.
Did not fall off.
There you go. I bet that felt amazing. Hold on.
did.
There we go. Drop stack.
Got him.
Oh,
Alright,
good
there you
shit,
go,
mister.
MrsMaaam.
Alright, I'm going to pick up some of them
Thanks.
sprites.
Where?
Do they have any shields?
Anytime.
Gummy Earth, I got that. Gold Ghost, got that. Boss Sprite,
I'll
got
take you. Oh my god, someone's sniping at me.
I see some.
Where are you? I'm coming.
I have no health. Where are they shooting from? You see him, mister?
Yeah, I do.
Storm is closing in on us. They gotta come towards us.
Oh, this is where I died.
Oh, I see him. I see him.
Oh, I see him. Hold on.
They took all my shit. Makes sense, but like, come on, really? Hey!
I'm there.
Wait,
Somewhere.
MrsMaaam, what are you doing back in Storm?
Grabbing my shit!
Oh, what? Oh, shit. All right. Well,
Damn, they
ma'am,
lost.
you're determined. I love it.
She said worth.
Was.
I need heal.
RJ, where are you?
Gummy boss sprite?
Do you
I'll be
have
with
that?
you in a sec.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shit. Oh,
It's a bear.
okay. Does someone not have the gold ghost?
I do have a gold ghost.
I can't. I don't know
I
off the top of
don't-
my head.
I don't think I
I
have
don't
that.
think that I do.
Do you have a? Do you have that gummy boss?
No, I seen it back.
I picked it up.
I don't think I have him yet. Whoa! Shit. Okay, but I need to extract this water sprite. I finally got my level 1 water to fucking max. Oh, there's gun flea
Extract him.
happening. I'm working on it. There's gun flea happening. They're coming here.
No.
Bitch.
There's only 7 people. 2 people.
Careful, Mr. Bear. They're coming up on you. Launch out of there. Be careful.
Mr. Bear saying worth.
Oh, he fucked him up.
Oh, there's one more. Where are they?
One more
Probably out of
team.
reboot
I hear
van.
boots. I hear a boot.
No, 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 no.
We're having a good time.
Get over.
Wait, let me extract this guy.
They're coming. They're coming. They're coming. They're coming. They're coming.
Where's coming?
Extraction's here.
Where?
Oh yeah.
Where are they?
Yeah, I heard.
I heard. Yeah, I heard the flying.
Yeah, I did not have a gummy boss.
Oh, right here. She's up the hill.
Not anymore.
Yep, I seen her. She has the Spidey gloves.
I hear it zipping around.
That's
She's
me.
over here.
I'm having a hard time whipping.
Your thwippage and this other lady's thwippage. Where'd you go?
I lost her. She swung away.
I don't like that. She's hiding.
Is it
Going
just
into the
them?
circle.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
one person.
Whoa! 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 They're in the tree! They're in the tree!
Through the trees.
That was rude.
Oh my god, I cannot whip to save my life.
Where'd they go?
She's right next to me. She's right next to me.
Bitch! Dog life!
There's one more.
Kill her.
She was the one more.
Okay.
Bitch, I'm the motherfucking Spider-Man. Woo!
Yeah, I mean,
Ended on a dub.
booty
We
full.
won because we were all Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we had the powder of spider.
We only won because Torgie and I had our bulge out.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Your bulge
RJ and I had our boobs out.
always.
Itty bitty titty committee.
Big bitty titty
Shut up.
committee. They need love too.
Wow.
But nice hips though, nice hips. Nice hips.
Stone.
See how
Anyways.
close these hips tonight.
What?
Jeez.
Alright, well, I'll see you all in Sadako, I guess.
Oh no. Wait, what? Is that the outro?
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Alright, peace out, woo
Bye.
What? What the fuck? Hey!
Alright, well, we appreciate what came on Google Gaff, laugh with us, Charmander, appreciate you coming through till the end, learn and do what you do. All the homies down in the description down below if you want to check them all out. TorgieBear58, MrsMaaam, TheHomieRJay, they're all down there doing things and stuff. But in the meantime, stay safe, white your ass, white your motherfucking ass, because the nigga bros are just nasty, no one will see, smell, and say shit, what the fuck you're into. Tomorrow we're doing Power World, everybody's doing Power World, it's happening, it's gonna happen, doing Power World. Because we're all addicted.
Yep.
Alright, bye. Peace out,
Shout out
whoop
to
whoop.
Pal World and bye, everybody.
Yep, love ya, bye.